Alright, we're going to do Chapter 9, Lesson 3. I'm not going to waste your time doing Lesson 2 because it's just finding the area of rectangles and squares, and we all know to find the area of a square, it's side times side or side squared. And postulate 12 says find the area of a rectangle, it's just the length of the base and its altitude, which we always talked about that as base times height. So the altitude is the same thing as height. So you should have no problem on lesson 2. You're going to do the odds on lesson 2 and lesson 3 today. So let's go into lesson 3. You're going to think this is quite silly as well, but they say things a little bit differently, so I wanted to speak in the language of the book. Plus, all these theorems that we have, theorem 47, 48, 49, these are going to come back at you with must be true, may be true, and false. So you do have to kind of know the language that they talk about and understand them. So let's quickly go through these. This is my second time I've done this. First time I did it had no sound. So theorem 47 says the area of a right triangle, note here, right triangle is half the product of the length of its legs. So look down here, we have this is a right triangle because it has one right angle. So if we're going to find the area of a right triangle, these are the legs, so you just multiply the legs together, because one of the legs, or actually both of the legs, are the altitude of the triangle. So right triangle is just base times height, leg times legs. This is your hypotenuse. So as long as you multiply two things together, not your hypotenuse, you're fine. Divide it by 2. Theorem 48 says the area of a triangle, this is any old triangle, any triangle is half the product, that be either, of the length of any base and its corresponding altitude. So look, here's our 3 different types of triangle. So this one right here is, well, it looks like a right triangle, but pretend it's not a right triangle. So you find the altitude to any side, and this would be your base down here. That's your base, and this is your height. So you would just take your base times your height. You wouldn't want to use these sides as your height. The altitude has to form a right angle with the bottom. So it would be 1/2 base times height, which you already know. We usually write it like this, 1/2 base times height. Now this one, the altitude is kind of outside the triangle. It's going to line up with whatever this line is right here. So these will line up. So it's going to be 1/2, this would be the base right here, times the height. So it's the base of the triangle, not this whole base. So this is your base right here. Base times height. And then in a right triangle, your altitude is, the height is a side, so it's just going to be base times height. Easy enough. Corollary, triangles with equal bases and equal altitudes have equal areas. And that just makes sense. So that's how you find the area of a triangle. This is base times height. So if the base times heights are the same, the areas are going to be the same. It's just common sense, but I'm sure they'll find a way to twist this all up and make you answer wrong on those must true, may true, and false ones. And then finally, this one might be new. The area of a rhombus is half the product of the length of its diagonals. They're going to give you enough information so you can find the length of the diagonal. So the area of rhombus ABCD is half of AC times BD. So it's 1/2 times the product. So let's look at some really quick examples because these are so easy. I need to finish this one here. Got erased. So here we have a triangle. They give us the sides are 8, 8, 8, and the altitude is 4 square root of 3. I'm doing this one because of this wacko altitude. So it's so easy though because we know that the area of a triangle is half the product of the length of any base and its corresponding altitude. So you're going to use this base right here. So it's just going to be 8, not that it matters, they're all the same, times 4 square root of 3. And that's going to be, and then it's 1/2. Duh. So 1/2 times 8 times 4 square root of 3. These can cross out. And your final answer for this one is just going to be 16 square root of 3. No units are given, so no units are needed. But if units are given, you must have units. Area is always going to be squared units, whatever it is. Okay, down here, this one they want you to write an expression for the perimeter and the area. So they don't give you any numbers here, so you have to keep it in terms of the variable. So we all know what perimeter is, right? You just add up all the sides. So it's going to be A plus C plus C. Yes, it is that simple. So it's A plus 2C. And then the area of that triangle is just going to be 1/2. And it's going to be base with the altitude on it. So you're not going to use this one. You're going to use the one that has the altitude. So it's going to be 1/2 C, that's your base, times the altitude, which is A. And that's it. Jump down here. This is a rhombus. It'll tell you it's a rhombus. So it'll say find the area of this rhombus. Remember, rhombus, all the sides are the same. So to find the area of a rhombus, it's just 1/2 the diagonal times the diagonal. So we look, our diagonal is 21 and 21, so it's going to be 1/2. And you have to add, they're really tricky here on you. So there's going to be 21, 21 is 42. And then add the other one together. 20 is the 20, and 20 is 40. So you just add those together, multiply and divide by 2, and we get our answer is 840. That's not the only way you can get that one. You could also find, you could do each triangle. You could do one triangle. You could do this base with this altitude, and then this base and this altitude, and add them together. So there's a couple different ways if you can't remember that, but I remember that. Half the product is length of diagonals. And then finally, this one, they tell you that you have a square. They want you to find the area of this blue, the blue area. So they leave a couple things off, so you have to figure it out all by yourself. They give you the 4, 6, and 6, and then you can figure out that that's 10. So this has to be 4, and this side has to be 10. So what we have to do is we don't have an altitude for this, so we can't find the area of this triangle. We don't even know the side, so we could use the Pythagorean theorem. So what we're going to do here is we know this is a square, so we do the area of the square, 10 squared, minus, and then we're going to do all the little triangles. So 1/2, let's do this one right here, 1/2 10 times 4, minus 1/2, for some reason my pen's not working right today, 6 times 6, that's this triangle right here, and then we just have to subtract off this one right over here. So we'd say minus 1/2, 4 times 10. If we subtract all those off from the square, we're going to get, you don't even need your calculator for this one, you're going to get 42. So again, a simple lesson. This whole chapter I think is pretty simple. So enjoy. So you're going to do the odds for lesson 2 and the odds for lesson 3.